Georgia versus Mississippi State this Saturday at 4:15. You're watching the life of Dustin and Allison. This is Dustin, and this is mine and my wife's YouTube channel. We post YouTube videos all the time. I'll be posting this video to YouTube and Facebook. But if you're finding this on YouTube, do us a favor and hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to our channel and hit all for notifications of all new videos. I post college football videos all the time. Me and my wife do vlogs all the time. And I post videos all the time about my faith in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You'll love our YouTube channel. There's plenty of content to go around. I'm here today at the doctor's office. I'm having a food digestion study. Been dealing with a little bit of motion sickness lately, and I've never heard of anything like this before. But I literally had to come in and eat 2 eggs. They cooked them in the microwave. And I know this has nothing to do with the video, but I'm just letting you know why I'm sitting in a random parking lot doing this video this morning. And they basically let me eat the 2 eggs, and they take a X-ray or a picture of my stomach, and they see how I'm digesting. And I have to sit here for an hour and go in and do it again, and I have to sit here for another hour and do it again. So I'll be here for 2 or 3 hours. But anyway, this video is about the Georgia Bulldogs. Mississippi State. The Mississippi State Bulldogs are coming to Athens to play the Georgia Bulldogs at Sanford Stadium. And, Georgia is 4-1. Georgia has beaten Clemson, Tennessee Tech, Kentucky, and Auburn. And Georgia has a loss to Alabama. And the Mississippi State Bulldogs are 1-4. I think their only win was like to Eastern Kentucky or Western Kentucky, something like that. Some lower classification team. And Mississippi State has losses to Arizona State, Toledo. They got blown out by Toledo, I think. And they've lost to Florida and Texas. I'm not going to do a bunch of trash talk in this video. Literally, as far as SEC teams go. And I think we just learned last weekend that in the SEC especially, like Kirby Smart always says, humility is literally just a week away. These rosters, every team in the SEC has guys on the lines of scrimmage that are 300 pounds or close to 300 pounds, and every roster in the SEC has every roster has weapons. Okay, they have some wide receivers that are really good. They have a running back that's really good, a tight end that's really good. Every SEC team has weapons. This is the greatest conference in college football. And yes, even the lower level teams such as Arkansas, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt are still really, really good football teams. And if you show up into a game and don't play your best, or come into the game thinking you got it, you can get humiliated. And Mississippi State is one of those teams, as of right now, Vanderbilt looks to be a lot better version of Vanderbilt. They're still Vanderbilt. Teams like Georgia and Alabama and LSU, Texas A&M, Tennessee, they still have a lot more talented players and a lot more quality depth. Then I'm not sure what the video just did. It just went crazy there for a second. I don't know if that's going to show up on the video or not, but they still have a lot more quality depth than teams like Mississippi State and Vanderbilt and Arkansas, lower level teams. But you still have to go into the game paying attention, and you still have to go into the game taking it serious. And out of all the teams in the SEC, Mississippi State truly probably is the very, very bottom right now, okay? I'd probably put them behind Vanderbilt, behind Arkansas. Mississippi State is a team right now that, to me, is going through a bunch of coaching transitions. And by the way, I love Mike Leach. I don't know who didn't love Mike Leach. And I'm leaning because there's like the sun's like, well, it's a little better now. It's not just like one single spot like it was on my eye. But everybody loved Mike Leach. He was a good guy, very, very, very unique personality. And of course, he died several years ago. And the team, I'm not sure of the guy's name, but I believe he was the defensive coordinator, moved him to interim head coach. And I liked him too. He was a cool guy, hard-nosed football coach. But it just didn't work out. Mississippi State just didn't do very well. Their quarterback, who I can't think of his name right now, this is a very informative video, transfers to, I believe it's Washington. Did he transfer to Washington right off the top of my head? guy was like the all-time passing yards leader in the SEC history. And I can't think of his name right now. I guess I should have paid a little bit more attention before I started this video. But regardless, Mississippi State is one of those teams to me in the SEC right now that they just don't have an identity. Their head coach, Jeff Lebby, he came from Oklahoma. He was the offensive coordinator at Oklahoma for several years. I know he's been at several other stops. I believe Jeff Lebby's a solid ball coach. I just believe that Mississippi State is struggling right now to find their identity, like I say, and who they really are as a football team. They're struggling right now in all phases of the game. Like I said, they got blown out by Toledo. They're 1-4 on the season, and things just ain't going to get any better this weekend when they come and play Georgia on the road. And like I said, we learned last week, and I don't know how football fans don't know this. This happens every year. Humility's a week away, especially in the SEC. And Georgia, they come into this game playing around and fooling around, and Mississippi State does have it's not like Mississippi State doesn't have the potential to beat Georgia. They can beat Georgia. Any team in the SEC can beat any team in the SEC on even any given Saturday. Okay, but I do think that Georgia is still in the process of getting back on track after the loss to Alabama. We had a solid, decent little game against Auburn. The game was close going into the third quarter, and Georgia pulled away, won by 18 points, making it 31-13. Going 4-1 on the season. They're still at number 5 in the country, but rankings don't really matter, especially this early in the season. And I think as Georgia fans, as negative as they are sometimes, I think we have to remember that football is 4 quarters long. The game is 4 quarters. I watched Liberty versus FIU last night, and Liberty's a lot better team than FIU, and the game was close the whole game, and then Liberty went up 24-10, and I thought the game was over, and then FIU came marching back. I mean, the game is 4 quarters long. I watch a lot of videos on my own. I watch a lot of one of the YouTube channels that I like a lot is called UGA Sports Live. It's got Roddy Nabolsi, Dane Young, and Jim Dinan on there talking all the time. And it's like Jim Dinan said yesterday. I don't know what some of these people expect when Georgia plays Auburn. They think we're just going to blow them out 42-0. I mean, this is the Auburn Tigers. They have 300-pounders on the lines of scrimmage. We're not just going to line up and snap the ball every time and win every single rep. Sometimes they're going to win. They got good athletes. This is football. Georgia fans have become very spoiled, and I think in 2021, Georgia had the greatest defense in college football history with, Trayvon Walker, Jordan Davis, Devontae Wyatt on the defensive line, and Nakobe Dean and Lewis Sing. Just guy after guy after guy, first rounder after first rounder. What were there, like 7 or 8 first rounders just off that defense? Just off the defensive side of the ball, like 7 or 8 first rounders. And I think we've gotten spoiled thinking that we're just going to come in and blow everybody out. And now the playing field has been so leveled by NIL and the transfer portal. And it's like used to teams like Georgia and Bama and Ohio State that were up here, and teams like, lower level teams, Arkansas and even Auburn in Florida this day and time, we're down here. Well, now it's like they've been brought closer together. Georgia still has the most, probably the best roster in football right now. Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, but things are a lot closer than they were. And I just do believe that this era of football that we're watching and living in is the most competitive and most hard to win era of the sport. Like teams ain't like so high and above roster-wise other teams. And Auburn's roster is not far off from Georgia's roster. And Georgia fans just expect Georgia to come into the game, and if they just don't dominate and score 2 touchdowns in every quarter and hold Auburn to 3 points, then it was like it was some type of failure or something, and we need to fire Mike Bobo, and Kirby doesn't know what he's doing. Guys, this is SEC football. I mean, this is what it is. You beat Auburn 31-13 at home. We need to be thankful about it. And we got Mississippi State coming in this weekend. Mississippi State is like I said, they're not doing so good right now. They're struggling to find their identity. They're at the lowest level of the SEC, and it just is what it is. Mississippi State, if both teams played their A game, they can't keep up with Georgia. But if Georgia comes in a little lackadaisical, a little sleepy, and messes around, and then a couple turnovers happen, you never know what can happen. But I do think this is going to be a game where Georgia's really going to come in and take care of business. I always give a final score prediction at the end of my videos. This video was a lot shorter than a lot of my videos. I'll just be dead honest with you. It's hard to get excited to make a video about Georgia and Mississippi State. I do think this is going to be somewhat of a blowout. I think it could be close. in the first quarter up until halftime. I do believe that Mississippi State could score more points than I'm going to give them right here, but I do believe that this is going to be and a score prediction is not necessarily like even if you made a score prediction and got it dead on the head, it was just luck. A score prediction is just a general idea of how you expect the game to go. Like if I said Georgia was going to beat somebody 30-20, and then Georgia beat them 28-21, that's pretty close. If I said Georgia was going to beat somebody 40-10, and then Georgia beat them 38-13, that's pretty close. So I'm going to give you my general idea of what I think the score is going to be in this game. I don't think it's going to be very close. I think Georgia is, and that's another thing I meant to say a second ago before I give my score prediction. Just like the game is 4 quarters long, I think we sometimes forget that the season is a long season, and teams go through different phases in the season. Sometimes at the beginning of a season, a team's defense won't look that good, and then towards the middle of the season, the defense will step up. They'll make a couple changes. They'll see a couple things on film that they can get better at. Sometimes during the season, I know I got a lot of people right now, a lot of Georgia fans that are in my circle that are complaining about Carson Beck, saying Carson Beck just doesn't look that sharp. He just doesn't look like the guy. Well, you go through phases in a season, and just don't forget that. There was times when Stetson Bennett didn't look that great at the beginning of the season and then looked like the Heisman candidate in the playoffs. And I do believe that Carson Beck is going to get better and better and better. I do believe that Georgia is at times struggling to find their identity on offense. We're struggling to find certain playmakers and certain positions we can get ourselves in, and I do believe Carson Beck is the guy. I haven't lost faith in Carson Beck. I do think Mike Bobo's doing a jam-up job, despite what a lot of other Georgia fans think. Mike Bobo averaged the same amount of points that Todd Monken averaged in 2021 and 2022. Todd Monken averaged 41 points a game, and in 2023, Mike Bobo averaged 41 points a game, and that's without Brock Bowers, without Ladd McConkey, without 2 or 3 first-round NFL offensive linemen. And at Georgia, we do have guys that come in and step up immediately. Georgia's recruited inside the top 3 since 2016, and have always recruited inside the top 10. It is next man up, but when you lose generational playmakers like Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey, you can expect this. And now this year, I believe Georgia's averaging 38 points a game. A lot of people are complaining, saying that, talking about Mike Bobo is just not getting it done. But I heard somebody break I listen to Dog Nation Daily a lot too, and Brandon Adams broke down some stuff yesterday and said that Georgia actually is just running a lot less plays here in 2024 than they were from 2021 to 2023. 2 of those years being with Todd Monken and 1 being with Mike Bobo. Is that a Mike Bobo thing, or is that a Kirby Smart thing? Also, with the new clock rules, the games are seeming to end faster. So Georgia they're running a lot less plays than they were in 2021, 2022, and 2023. Is that by design? Is that by the new clock rules causing the games to be shortened? Is that a little bit of both? I believe it's a little bit of both. But at the end of the day, the goal is to win the game. And right now, Georgia's 4-1. They're ranked number 5 in the nation. Rankings don't matter. Georgia is one of the co-favorites to win the SEC championship game. Georgia is one of the co-favorites to win the national title. Everything's still in front of us. As of right now, everything's still in front of everybody. This world of college football we live in with this era is so competitive. And when these guys who are on second and third string can't get on the team, they'll just transfer to another school. And teams poaching rosters with NIL. Things have just become so evened out. And this new world of college football we live in with divisions going away and Texas and Oklahoma joining our conference, it's just become a lot more difficult to win. And teams going 12-0 anymore, it's just that's going to be very, very rare, few and far and in between. If a team manages to go 12-0 in this day and time in the SEC, then that's just they might be the greatest team in college football history, because Georgia alone is going to end up playing 5 or 6 of the teams that are in the top 12. I mean, Georgia's basically playing the entire top 10. I mean, just this year, Georgia's going to have to go play Clemson, on the road at Kentucky, on the road at Alabama, on the road at Ole Miss, on the road at Texas, home games against Tennessee, Auburn, Georgia Tech. And Georgia Tech, laugh if you want to. Georgia Tech's on the rise with Brent Key. But I'm getting carried away here. I'm looking forward to this weekend. Like I said, the kickoff's going to be about 4:15, kind of a weird time there. But I do think Georgia will take care of business here in this spot. And then we got to go get ready to go on the road and play Texas. And then we got a bye week. And then I believe we have Florida. And then, Ole Miss, UMass, Georgia Tech, Tennessee. But my final score prediction, I think that Georgia is going to win this ball game 41-7. Hope y'all are having a good day. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel.